I'm Joanne Liebler. You know, I've learned a lot about health issues in homes as a remodeling expert. And people ask things like, what about mold in bathrooms? Or do I need to worry about lead-based paint? Well, prevention is the best medicine. Just like your car needs a regular tune-up, your home needs a tune-up too. So let's talk about how to maintain your home and make sure it's healthy. When it comes to getting rid of moisture problems, you want to be diligent. By doing regular inspections, you can more quickly eliminate moisture and mold. After rainstorms or snow, check for standing water. Look for signs of condensation or moisture on and around windows, wall corners, and foundations. If you need to clean up mold, avoid using bleach, which doesn't eliminate the core water problem and emits unhealthy fumes. Instead, use detergent and water. When it comes to cleaning our homes, there are a lot of products to choose from. Simple soap or vinegar and water can sometimes clean efficiently. You don't want to use products that can add harsh chemicals to the indoor air. The best way to avoid toxic chemicals is to keep them out of your house. You can reduce the off-gassing of products by using no or low VOC paints, wall treatments, and flooring. If you have carpets, clean them regularly with a HEPA vacuum. It can better trap a large amount of small particles than regular vacuums. For those lingering smells, don't use air fresheners, which temporarily mask the problem and add chemicals to the air. And if you have cigarette smokers in the house, ask them to step outside. Now here's an important one. Make sure that you install and then regularly check smoke detectors and carbon monoxide alarms. If pests are in your home, use integrated pest management techniques and the least toxic approach like boric acid and gel baits. Sprays and foggers don't work, and these toxic chemicals are harmful for you and your family. During your remodel, an HVAC contractor can help you decide to either service or upgrade your existing system. Once complete, your contractor should seal all of the ducts and determine that there are no leaks in your air delivery. The EPA recommends cleaning your ducts only when needed. By changing your HVAC filter regularly, preferably with a MERV 10 filter, you can greatly improve your home's ventilation. The reason fans, vents, and range hoods are installed in your home is to remove contaminants from the air. Make sure that you have working exhaust fans in bathrooms and above the kitchen stove, and make sure it vents outside. For homes built before 1978, it's best to hire a certified professional for the renovation, since the lead-based paint could be poisonous if disturbed. If your radon test came back with high levels, you'll want to conduct the proper radon mitigation. Radon mitigation can involve placing a vent pipe below the slab to carry the poisonous gas up and out through a roof or side vent. Radon mitigation in an existing home costs between $800 and $1,200 and requires a professional. You've had a lot of decisions to make while remodeling your home. Another important one, whether or not to replace your windows and doors. If you replace them with high-performance windows and storm doors, you can conserve energy and reduce indoor condensation. For replacing appliances, the Energy Star products are energy efficient, while WaterSense models will conserve water. Once your remodeling project is finished, it's time to enjoy your home. However, if you see stains, bulges, or visible mold, or if it smells damp and musty, these are all signs that a problem needs to be addressed. The key is to pay attention to certain signs in your home and take the necessary steps to resolve them. For all these steps, it just takes figuring out what works best. But in the end, you'll be able to breathe easy knowing that you're eliminating health issues in your home.
So you want to build a healthy and very energy efficient home? What's the wall you're going to choose? Well, let me show you a solution that we are big fans of. Okay, so the system I'd like to present to you is using boards by a company called Agepan. It is spelled Agepan. I don't know, I'm German, so I pronounce it Agepan the way that they say it over there. The main product that I'm going to be focusing on is called a DWD, which is an exterior sheathing product. And I'm going to be referencing it in comparison or in conjunction with a wall system that you see here. So let's look at this wall a bit more in detail. It does use Agepan DWD, but it is a system, and we stress that there is a system at play here which looks at the correct building physics of this wall. It does lead to a healthy wall and very energy efficient wall. I don't really have the time to go into the detail of the building physics. For that, I'm going to make a part 2. But let's quickly go over the advantages to the homeowner and to the builder. In detail, this wall has a rain screen on the outside, then the DWD sheathing from Agepan, dense packed cellulose, an OSB layer on the inside, and an installation cavity. And let's talk about the advantages for the homeowner. It is healthy, and there's a few components to health in this case. It regulates your inside temperature, your inside moisture content of the air, so the vapor and the humidity of the interior air. It also, within itself, prevents mold, which could be a health issue down the road. It regulates your heat and your cold. Obviously, that changes your temperature on the inside, or we try to keep your temperature on the inside as consistent as possible, even though we've got drastically rising and dropping air temperatures on the outside. And lastly, the DWD is also formaldehyde free for anyone that is concerned about that. We can also use OSB that is formaldehyde free. In this case, it is just using a regular OSB board. And then lastly, it's also very quiet. There's a lot of mass in this wall, and it does take a lot of mass to really shake this. So it doesn't transmit a lot of noise coming from the outside in. Okay, let's talk about the advantages for the builder. This board has a live load capacity of 100 kilogram over a rafter distance of 1 meter, which makes it ideal for to be able to walk on when you've got your roof sheathed, or even your wall when it still sits on the ground. Also, it has tongue and groove all around on all 4 sides, which means that you can frame up your wall, then lay this on top of it, and the edges don't need to meet on a stud. I see a lot of wall systems that are currently using a membrane on the outside and then dense packing cellulose behind it. It makes it very complicated with how you are going to support your membrane from tearing out. Okay, and lastly, I want to address an industry that is really not quite that coming here yet. I think it will be up and coming in the future years. That is prefabricated homes. You can prefabricate these walls in modules that you are going to then land on site later on, which means you are now fabricating this wall out of the influences of your weather, and you're not fighting water and moisture issues right from the get-go. This board is specifically made for that industry. You can transport the wall modules very easily, and they're not going to break on you. One last point is that it is your second water repelling barrier, so you don't need to install a Tyvek on the outside of that, and you're removing steps and costs involved in installing that additional membrane. All right, lastly, let's talk about cost. I've gotten feedback in the past that you really like that aspect, that I don't just drop that underneath the table. A lot of people think that this product is going to be way more expensive than any other commonly suggested products. I see a lot of walls that are now designed with plywood on the outside, and the reason behind that is, or the reasoning is, that it is somewhat vapor open and the correct product to use. When we make our calculations about how the vapor really reacts in your wall, we don't see plywood as the correct item to use. It should probably more be on the inside. And the details of that I'll explain in the building physics video. The problem really is that if you do use plywood here on the outside and you have some vapor coming through there, there's a significant vapor pressure drop right at the plywood, which means that there could be condensation. Then the water soaks up into your cellulose and over the long term can cause some real mold issues. I hear that very commonly from R2000 homes. They kind of disrespected the building physics in it all. So comparing it to a sheet of plywood and using a house that is 30 feet by 30 feet by 20 feet high, that's just a regular one family single residence on 2 levels, the price difference is $500. And we don't think that really, saving those $500 is worth it on the long run, especially if you are having to majorly modify this house down the road because you found moisture issues. This is the correct product in this kind of a wall system to use, and saving $500 is really not, I think, the right place. Also, there's some efficiencies that you can use here. When you're not installing a membrane, a Tyvek on the outside of this, you are now saving some money on labor. You're also saving some money on cost. At the end of the day, it may even out the $500, and so we don't think that you should be looking at plywood as a solution to that. So thank you very much for watching this video. I try to keep these videos as short as I can. There's a lot to pack into this, and it's a fairly complicated and complex topic. I hope you watch the building physics video as a part 2, explaining what is really going on here a bit further. If you are watching this on YouTube, give me some thumbs up if you like the product. Maybe you'd like to buy it in the future. We stock this here at Pinwheel, and it's a standard item in the inventory. We can also supply you with WUFI calculations to really show you how this would work in your home and make suggestions for healthy wall designs. So write me an email, write comments underneath. I really want to answer all the questions that you have, and see you the next time.